Something in life that I always found interesting is that I think that a lack of resources can actually be a benefit and advantage. There's so many times in life where people do things and they say that, oh, I don't have this item, so I can't do it. But do you know the amount of like rappers, do you know the amount of people that make videos how I'm making right now, who they might not have the best equipment, right? They might not have the funds or whatever to do what they need to do on a high level, but just by getting started, you can gain that experience. And through gaining that experience at the start, you're going to naturally just improve. So that when you do get the best equipment, you're going to be on a next level. Like I remember, like even if I always use music as an example, but even if I use music as an example, I can even use sports, right? But if I use music as an example, there's so many stories I hear of, okay, this person couldn't afford studio equipment, so all they did is that they downloaded this software on their laptop and then they managed to buy a cheap microphone from like Amazon, and they kind of had their own studio set up. They might put a sock on the microphone or something like that to maybe distort their voice, and then from there they kind of get started. They might end up doing that for a couple of years. They might end up even making a song that's a hit, and by using those low resources to make their hit, it's like, raw, if I've spent little to no money and I've made a hit with these resources, when I get the big studio and all that, I'm going to be an absolute beast. So I see Nipsey Hussle do that. I see James Jones do that. I see Russ do that. The American Russ, not the UK one. I see Russ do that. So limited resources can help. And even if I use sports for an example, I'm an Arsenal fan. Someone like Ian Wright. Ian Wright, as far as I'm aware, he was just practicing pretty much just on the streets. He was kicking a ball against the wall just to practice his first touch. And he did all of that. And eventually he managed to get to, I think it was Palace. Then obviously he got to Arsenal after. But he was just a street baller effectively. He ain't really have too many resources. Sorry, I might have got the Ian Wright thing wrong. I don't even know. I think I'm right in saying that he went Palace first before Arsenal. I only started watching football in '06, so don't judge me or whatever. But him having them limited resources helped him. And now this guy, absolute legend. So when you have the limited resources, I think the key thing, don't let that stop you. Just start. Even right now, when I look at my previous videos, right, I was recording on, I think it was an iPhone SE 2020. I was recording on that, right? Not a terrible phone, but when I'm recording on that phone, I'm looking back at the camera quality. I'm using the front camera as well, which is terrible. I was overweight as well. I was 10 kg heavier then than I am now. I've lost 10 kg since I started, like 6 months ago, right? I had loads of hair, like on my sideburns. I just look awful. I always wearing my cap. Looking at the video quality, I could have said, yo, you know what, I've got no trim. I need to lose weight. My camera quality is poor. I'm not even going to put out these videos. I could have just waited 6 months. So I just thought, nah, let me just do it. So then I started doing it. And now, 6 months on, my confidence has improved. I'm able to look at the camera a lot more. I used to, at the start of the videos, I used to flinch either my left or right eye a lot for whatever reason. That was kind of just a given. Now I don't really have those habits anymore. I do my videos outside and I've just improved. And that's just by starting. Now, if I had a camera or something like that, which is amazing quality, if I had a microphone, that can take it to the next level, right? But with the resources I've used, I've been able to build this up, and I got over 500 followers, which I'm pretty happy about, man. So what you got to do, just start. Don't let anything stop you, regardless of what you got. Just make the start now. Do that for a few months. You're going to naturally make improvements so that when you can afford the real stuff, you're going to be an absolute beast. You're going to be an absolute monster.